Today I'm going to try this router for the first time. This video is not for people who already know how to use these. This is, just trying to help some people who know nothing about this like myself. What I have here is the Ryobi 18 volt. It's not brushless, but I got this for $20. You can see the video here. So first things first, make sure you use sufficient battery. This is not one of those tools where you want the 1.5 amp hour battery. If you're using this for any length of time, you want to use one of the bigger ones, like at least 3, 4, 6, or even 9. Those will all last longer. It drains the battery really quick. Here we have the depth guide, and if you have trouble pushing it like I did, it's because I think you have to hold this little button here, and then I try doing one hand. It's kind of hard, but yeah, see, it adjusts cut depth. And here we have a locking thing that lets you remove the entire base. So it appears you could do further adjustments or remove it entirely. The wrench that comes with it doesn't fit too well. It's rubbing against the plastic, so there's a little bit of fit and finish issues there. But it's a it's a bargain tool. There's not much you can expect from it. If I had to guess, you could remove that screw or that retaining nut, detach these two pieces. I'm assuming that you could use this separately, maybe on a table. Maybe that's why they allow for that. Just allowing the users to detach the base. If I'm incorrect, please correct me in the comments below. I usually agree with most people that you want to buy the best quality bits, whether it's a drill, a screwdriver, or whatever, because they just last longer. But in this case, I don't know what I'm doing, so a lot of people suggested to get one of these cheap kits, because if you're learning, you're gonna probably go through a lot of these anyways. The drawback is that with the fit and finish, sometimes they're not exactly a 1/4 inch in this case, so it might not even fit into the router. But I think that's still worth the trade-off, just for learning. And then once you break them, which you will, you just replace it with a high quality version. For today's demonstration, I'm just going to use the corner round. Just get one of these sets just to practice with. It's a throwaway set. This was $20 from Amazon. This isn't the only brand. There's multiple ones out there, so they all do the same thing. But it even says that it's for beginners. So to insert the bit, I'm pushing down this button here to lock that thing in the middle. And again, this wrench doesn't really fit that well, so it barely clears one turn. So the idea is to get loose enough until you can spin it by hand. Then we're just gonna add this bit in here, and then we're gonna tighten it back up, going the clockwise direction. Okay, so I have everything clamped down. Definitely get something better than the Harbor Freight clamps. They don't work really well. But I lined up the bit. Well, can't really see it. If I'm doing this wrong, please correct me. But I'm just using a guide board here. Again, note the rotation of the bit. We're going to go counterclockwise on this outside edge. And you're just going to round over this board. Okay, so the cut is done. This is my very first cut of a router ever. I'm so sorry if it's not as clean as it should be. see if I can. It's kind of hard to focus. So. But yeah, it's very smooth. Very, very smooth. Install 4 bars of battery, but again, I'm sure if you have any sizable project, it's going to run out really quick. And the cheap bit did absolutely fine, you know. There's no problems with it whatsoever. I went I went left to right because for perimeter cutting, I believe you're supposed to do counterclockwise. So had we gone all the way around, it would have been in this direction. Inside, it would have been clockwise. And again, if you're just doing a typical round off, you could just use a sanding block. It's probably too much to do something like this. But you know, this is something I did a few years ago, where I just rounded off the corner with a sanding block and sandpaper. This will work perfectly fine for something, just to smooth out the corners, the edges. Yeah, it still looks pretty decent. Okay, so it seems pretty trivial. We made a single cut. So what? Well, again, I just wanted to help some people who might be new to this, maybe new to woodworking. They weren't really sure what this is for. Well, I think it's pretty obvious what the tool does. And this is the most simple cuts you can probably do. You would be surprised how many people don't even bother to I didn't build this table, and it's plywood, but you get my point. Sometimes the attention to detail could make things look a lot nicer. There's also clamping down the work pieces and clamping down the guide. You'll be surprised how many years I've tried to cut things freehand and have things wobble, cut crooked. So this is really one of those things where you have to walk before you run. Instead of making a whole cut all around, I would just do a single cut like I did. Just start with the basics. If you can't get that right, then how can you get more intricate patterns? This goes for any tools you have. It's all practice and technique. And I'm going to keep learning, and I hope you keep learning too. And hopefully a few years from now, I'll be cutting a lot more interesting things than just a round over corner. So yeah, go out and have fun with it.